Hello, everyone. Welcome to PitchUp Two Finals, hosted by BoomStartup Accelerator. It is my pleasure to be hosting this today. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Tara Spalding. If you do not know me, I'm the managing director over here at BoomStartup Accelerator. It is my pleasure to be kicking off this fantastic event. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a story about pioneers. And it's not the pioneers that people usually think about when we're here in Utah. It's actually a different kind of pioneer. This one is Pioneer 10. There were 9 before it. It was launched in the 2nd of March, 1972, created by a team of scientists and engineers for over a decade. And Pioneer 10 was breaking through the frontier to basically provide us as humans insight as to what was going on this planet called Jupiter in our solar system. Absolutely massive, really chaotic and confusing. We needed to do a very close flyby. But Pioneer didn't only have that mission. It had the mission of visiting other planets, including Neptune. And the vision and the plan that started in the 60s, was launched in the 70s, continued its scientific project in its 80s, is absolutely fantastic. Our last opportunity that we talked to that was back in 2003, where it was 12 billion kilometers away from Earth, approximately 92 what they call AUs. And it continues to be the furthest launched and trajectory item from humankind in outer space. In 2009, it was approximately 217,000 AUs from the nearest star. So it's only 100 and so AUs away from us, but 217,000 AUs left to go. This in itself is a pioneer. This in itself shows what humanity is. Now, I'm not going to only focus on what that journey is, but the most important thing about it is the plaque. This is a replica of Carl Sagan's plaque that's attached to the antenna leg, and it's on the support struts. This was given to all of the workers of Pioneer 10. This was given to my father-in-law because he was part of NASA Ames. And this was one of his projects that he was so proud of. Why was he proud of this? Because he knew his small contributions of measurements and increments and testing and timing was going to do something massively interesting for the human race. I look at us today and what we're doing for our economy, what we're doing for those that are not only here locally, but all around the world, of providing education and support and encouragement for early stage growth can lead to the next pioneer. And maybe it's not in space travel. Maybe it's in medicine. Maybe it's in social development. Maybe it's in transportation. There are so many things that we do as a society to give a little bit to support a lot. This is my theme for PitchUp 2 today. Now, let's talk about BoomStartup. BoomStartup is an evolving ecosystem that is online and accessible whenever and wherever. We go for the long play. We're not a short-run cohort, but we keep in touch with every single founder that joins our community, and we keep tabs with how their growth is going. What struggles are they having? And most importantly, what successes are they accomplishing? It's these little things that make a big deal. We keep track of companies for the first 3 years of their lives. Do you know why? Because 90% of startups fail within those first 3 years. So if they get that sort of support, such as what my father-in-law did with Pioneer, then maybe this can give them a better trajectory of being in that 10%. We also connect founders with tools, resources, mentors, experts, and sponsors and investors who fit their profile, who fit their DNA as to what type of leadership they have, who fit their type of revenue model and industry. And we believe it's all a give and take. We are not all mentors and we are not all students. It's an exchangeable play because that's how we evolve as humans. We are a global entity, and we are also free to join and participate in most of our programs. Unlike other accelerators, we welcome all from around the world. Our promise is to connect and guide others who care and encourage startup success. The secret sauce of BoomStartup is not a secret. It's you guys. You are our ecosystem. You guys have the knowledge and the strength to carry on, but we encourage transparency, honesty, and accountability. Everything is a program that we do here at Boom because, well, that's how my brain works. But it's also our community that can jump into these programs and make it better than what I myself can do alone. We focus on financial acumen. What does that mean? We study money and we explain how money works and doesn't work because you know what? Sometimes people start business without this sort of insight. And not all companies are fundable, but that is okay. Our mentors and our platform will provide helpful indicators so that startups are in fact on the path of funding or given the indicators or signals that they should pivot if they truly want to pursue this as a business that will be profitable. Our 4 cornerstone programs are backed by business analysis. So we've got this great ecosystem, but it's all happening on a platform that's tracking your behavior, that's tracking your corporate growth, your financials. And let me just go through these real quick. Obviously, y'all are here for PitchUp, and this is our 2nd program. And believe it or not, we've had over 400 entrepreneurs enter our program in these last 2. Unbelievable. We have vast categories, and of course, it's global. Open Up. Open Up is the program that welcomes any companies at any stage location. We've ran 8 of these programs, and we've had over 200 participants. Now, Rise Up is my favorite. Like, it is like the little infiltration group that just really gets into the dirty of companies that need help. And we've hosted 5 of these sprints. We've had 30 founders participate and mentors as well, in addition to the experts. We've covered topics about funding preparedness, hiring, marketing, messaging, all of this such really do help propel business. And then lastly, Amplify Up. Amplify Up is our funding program. And again, this is very unique. And we have had 138 companies pre-apply to get into Amplify Up. And we've also had 78 companies go through the very first level of educating about funding. So all of these are just with amazing traction and participation, and it's all community driven. So who is this community? Well, we have 50 mentors, 30 experts, and out of those subset, we have 30 mentor investors. Yes, that's right. They write checks and they help out companies. And this is a really important aspect because our community is what our strength is. Now, how do we measure ourselves? It's creating that aha moment for the 1,000 founders. We don't think every company is fundable, but every company can avoid mistakes. By educating founders and providing loose structure on growth and holding founders accountable will make the difference in day-to-day decisions and help them ultimately help themselves. We are different as an accelerator. I cannot say this enough. There is no cost to join. You can join anytime. Some programs have small fees. Yes, you as founders will pay for it, but guess what? It shows us that you're committed, and also it is also given back to our experts who are running it. We do not require relocation, and our programs are just formatted to really help you with that financial acumen. And of course, the funding happens through SPVs or special purpose vehicles, so that not only is BoomStartup investing, but we bring in other angel investors as well to create that sort of stable introduction to investment out of the gate. Yep, we have demo days and there's a funding application, but you can still learn and grow even if you're not at the point of funding. Now, about PitchUp Two Finals. This was amazing. We had over 200 entries, y'all. This is amazing. 22 finalists are presenting today in 7 categories. It was a global event. We had 20 countries submit people into this program. And how are they being judged? By professionalism, traction, viability, reach, and innovation. I would like to quickly thank our sponsors. Assure is providing $1,000 to each category winner, and they are the leader in SPVs for private investments. Stoll Reeves is providing 4 service hours to the Humanity winner, and they provide comprehensive legal services to startups. Now CFO is providing 4 consulting hours to the finalists, and they provide financial visibility to make smarter decisions. We'd like to thank Start for providing $250 in cash plus $1,000 in services to Start Community Award winner. It's a separate group. Start brings services to creators and entrepreneurs to succeed. We'd also like to thank Mezi, and they're providing $1,000 in reports to each of the category winners plus market analysis to all the finalists. They deliver diligence as a service to investors in startup. And Rehabilitation Health, who's providing $5,000 in services to the health and wellness winner. Rehabilitation Health is a social collaboration network for health entrepreneurs. Thank you also to Outcode. Outcode Software is a sponsor of BoomStartup in all of our programs, and they provide innovative software solutions to help startups grow. Now, I'm going to quickly introduce the judges, and then we're going to roll into the energy category really hot. All right, so we have Mark Rasich from Stoll Reeves, Andy Jorgensen from Lighthouse Investments, Chris Badger from Now CFO, Shakayla Smith from Start, Joe May from Creatively, Katie Nielsen from Assure, Mark Tullis from Tech Buzz News, Nick Lamb from Outcode Software, Tanner Anderson from Mezi, Tim Cooley from Park City Angels, and also Tailwind Accelerator, thank you, and Jeremy Lund from Rehabilitation Health. All right, with no further ado, let me introduce the energy category. First up, we are going to have Cole Brower from Padma Agrobotics. He was mentored by Chris Maresca, and he was referred into the competition by the Arizona Commerce Authority. Thank you, Arizona. Padma Agrobotics helps vegetable farmers significantly reduce their weed removal operating costs by providing them with AI-based mechanical small footprint robots to remove weeds from crops. Sanza Kanzadi will be presenting Kazadi Enterprise. He was mentored by Arthur E. Benjamin, who was referred to us by Adam Hoken. He's the CEO of Pedestal and former PitchUp competition winner. So thank you, Adam. Kazadi Enterprises is developing products that harvest and use environmental thermal energy, enabling processes in heating, cooling, and water purification. And then we also have Raj Bari from Off Grid Technologies. He was mentored by Chris Maresca. He was referred into the competition by Tanya Hertz, director of the REC Innovation Lab. Okay, so Raj is with Off-Grid is a portable hydroelectric charger with an integrated battery to provide reliable charging anytime, anywhere. And then last, we have Divin Kobatikwa from Greenbox. He was mentored by Christina Shawley, and Greenbox is a walk-in solar-powered cold room for 24/7 storage and preservation of food, extending the shelf life of perishables from 2 days to 21. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and first up is Cole.
Great, thank you, Tara. Let me share my screen. Okay. Padma Agrobotics helps mid-sized farms to significantly reduce their weed removal costs by providing them with AI-based robots that can mechanically remove weeds from crops, thus automating a currently manual weed removal process. The seed for our idea came from Padma, who is a farmer in South India and the mother of my co-founder. For Padma, weed removal is a difficult and time-consuming task that must be performed by hand, and she wondered why there wasn't a solution for automating the process. So her simple question started our journey. In the United States, farmers spend over $6 billion per year on weed control for vegetables, cotton, and corn crops. And in Arizona and California alone, vegetable farmers spend $132 million per year on manual weed removal operations. These weed removal costs are expected to increase by 15% by 2023, which is a large concern for vegetable farmers. Padma Agrobotics creates AI-based robots that remove weeds from crops and replace the physically demanding manual labor process. These robots use a mechanical weed removal system and are battery-powered, avoiding the need for fossil fuels or herbicides. They also have a small footprint and are semi-autonomous, allowing a single technician to simultaneously operate multiple robots. We've completed a number of design iterations to reach a robot that is reliable and effective. We will be providing our weed removal robots as a service to mid-sized farms and charging them on a per-acre basis. The robot production will be outsourced for efficiency, and the weed removal operation will be done by a team of farm technicians who will operate the robots in the farms for our customers. We will initially start with a small fleet of robots that can grow as needed to accommodate more customers, and these will be rotated between Arizona and California vegetable farms depending on the growing season, allowing for year-round service operation. With Padma robots, farmers will see a 12% reduction in farming costs. They will also see a 400% increase in productivity for the weed removal process, since our robots can operate day and night. We are the only battery-powered, AI-based weed removal solution in the market, and our robots are unique in that they have a small footprint which provides for ease of transport and operation. We are currently running field trials of our robot and have partnered with 2 of the largest farms in Arizona for testing and data collection, as well as experts in the agricultural field who can connect us with additional farms. We will begin demonstrating our robot to farmers in October 2021. We hope you will join us in bringing AI automation to agriculture.
Thank you so much, Cole. Great job on the presentation. I'd like to now open it up for the judges to ask Cole questions. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. 2 minutes starts now.
Hey, Cole. What kind of costs are associated with robot?
So our robots at this point are fairly expensive. I think we're around $10,000 estimated per robot, but this we can reduce over time. And since we're using a relatively small fleet of robots for multiple customers and for large areas per customer, we end up having good unit economics in the end because we can reuse the same robots over and over.
Yeah, I was just wondering how easy are they to maintain in the field? Like how easy are they to swap parts, and can a farmer maintain them?
Sure. So we've been working very hard to iterate on the robot and get it to a point where it is very solid and doesn't break down. That is something we are continually looking for as we do more extended field trials, is where there are areas we could improve it. But like as of now, we have it so it's easy to replace blades on a removal mechanism, change out parts of the drivetrain or maintain the drivetrain if we need to, but we're always looking for ways to improve it.
Okay, thank you so much. And really appreciate your answers, Cole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Sansa Kazadi.
Hello, can you?
Hi, Sansa. Thank you. Welcome. You can go ahead and share your screen, and you can go.
Hi, my name is Sansa Kazadi, and I'm the president and founding CEO of Kazadi Enterprises. My story begins here with my mom, who moved to the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2000 in an area that had no services and which got really, really hot during the summer. I was concerned about her ability to get cooling in air conditioning or refrigeration, and so I started looking for a solution for her.
Okay.
The technology that I settled on is based on this. You have 2 different water solutions, one which has more salt than the other. And when you put them in a container together, pull a vacuum in there, water spontaneously evaporates from the less concentrated and condenses on the more concentrated, which generates a thermal gradient. That is a heat pump, and it can do all the things a heat pump can do, and so forth. So We have a technology, we created a technology platform based on that. And that technology platform allows us to, you put the different components together in different ways and it does different things. So for instance, we can create electricity for mom's phone, we can create hot water to give her hot water, or we can do refrigeration, and we can also provide her with clean water. There are lots of people who are involved, or there are lots of people who need these technologies, off-grid technologies and on-grid technologies in both the developing and developed world. And we think that with our competitive advantage on our technology, we can be disruptive in a variety of different markets. So in the last few years, we've had a significant amount of traction. We've had several US patents issued, and we have 4 patents still pending. We've raised $1.13 million, starting with the sale of my house and with various non-dilutive grants. We have our very first customer in the Humanitarian Grand Challenge, which is providing us with enough funding to put clean water and electricity pilots and also a microfactory for pharmaceutical grade IV serum pilot in a rural hospital in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which will be installed next year in 2022. We've put together a significant team of experts who have hundreds of years of combined experience, both in R&D and business and management in 3 different locations here in Batavia and in the Congo and around the US. And we actually have one in Brazil, so actually it's 4 locations. What we're seeking are strategic partners for joint R&D, product development partners to help get to new products in different areas, and $1.5 million in seed funding to help us get to our very first production prototype. Thank you very much.
That was fantastic. Okay, I'd like to open it up for the judges for 2 minutes of questions.
Who do you see as the first buyer?
Well, so as I mentioned, we have our very first buyer of our pilot project or products. Right now, we're working with a company in Luxembourg who is interested in creating refrigerators based on our technology. We're at a very early stage in those discussions at this point, but we think that within 2 years, we'll be rolling out refrigerators for the medical supply chain.
What's the scale of the pilot that you're going to have in the DRC?
So we're providing 200 gallons per day of sterile distilled water, and we're providing 7.3 kilowatt hours of electricity per day. And then for the IV serum, we're doing about 100 gallons of IV serum maximum per day.
Okay, I don't think I have any more questions. Great job, Sansa. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's go. On to pitch number 3. This is Raj Pabari from Off Grid Technologies.
All right. Hi there, I'm Raj Bari. I'm the CEO of Off Grid Technologies. I'm coming to you today as a high school senior, and thank you so much to BoomStartup and Tara for the opportunity to pitch today. Think back to the last time that your phone died and you had no way to charge it. Though it's annoying to have your devices run out of battery, in some situations, access to off-grid power is the difference between life and death. Whether you're on a multi-day off-grid camping trip or on the front lines of a war zone, access to on-demand power can be vital. Current market solutions fall short. Solar chargers can't generate power at night or when it's cloudy, and bulky pre-charged batteries are useless once depleted. The global off-grid market, including recreational, camping, hiking, and fishing, along with essential use in power outages and living or operating in remote areas, creates a $19 billion opportunity for a better solution. To solve this problem, the patent-pending OG charger incorporates a water turbine, solar panel, hand crank, and wall input, which combined with an integrated battery ensures reliable charging anytime, anywhere. The OG charger is a first-of-its-kind innovation that is creating a new market category of small-scale power generation for portable devices. The water turbine is in the front, and inside the watertight container, there is a hand crank, a battery, and a solar panel. All of these components have been tested and are generating power. We are currently iterating and improving this minimum viable product before beta testing. Our solution has 2 major use cases, recreational and essential. On the recreational side, there's a large market opportunity of American campers with 95 million total households that camp each year. The OG charger would benefit these consumers because 81% of campers use devices that need charging. On the essential side, the government has expressed an interest in our technology to lighten the battery load of soldiers. Because of this interest, we entered it for 3 SBIR programs with the National Science Foundation, the Army, and the Navy, which would fund the development of the product if granted. At the price point of $180, our recreational model is competitively priced, yet maintains a healthy gross margin of 73%. We have a direct-to-consumer business model and a 2-pronged go-to-market strategy using our website in the Amazon Marketplace to sell our product. With this business model, we estimate a $34 customer acquisition cost. At present, our message is resonating and we have won a number of awards at pitch competitions. In the future, we plan to give back by allocating a percentage of profits towards donating OG chargers to communities lacking power. Off-Grid Tech has a core team of experienced innovators and entrepreneurs who drive our success. We frequently go camping, hiking, and fishing, giving us first.
You were right there. Raj, you ran out of your 3 minutes. Thank you so much. Great job. Now we're going to open it up to the judges' Q&A.
Raj, are you looking at doing this as e-commerce, direct-to-consumer type business?
Yes, absolutely. There's 2 sides, a recreational side and an essential side. And the recreational side, selling to campers, that would be e-commerce, direct-to-consumer.
On the military side, what's the weight?
The weight is, so the Navy, each branch is asking for like a slightly different model with different power requirements. The Navy is asking for something that's about 70 pounds. The Army is asking for something that's more on the range of 10 to 20 pounds. And then the one that I'm showing you here is on the scale of about 1.5 pounds.
Okay, thank you.
Raj, what is the maintenance? What does it require to maintain this product?
Yeah, there are certain components. There's like a motor, the battery, and these components may have to be switched out, but they, depending of course on the model, like it'll meet military specs and be able to be replaced in the field if necessary for the essential model. And the recreational model will have some sort of warranty customer support as well.
Thank you.
How does the solar, or how does the power output compare to solar chargers that are currently available?
Yeah, we're planning on, for the recreational side, we'll use just a standard USB output. So this is like, you could plug your phone into that. And for the military, we may use USB, but what's more likely is that we use a 12-volt output for the military side.
So what about actually power, like kilowatts?
Oh yeah, the actual power. So smallest model is about 5 watts. The middle model would be about 25 watts. And then the biggest model would be some to 500 watts.
Can it be charged by 12 volt by a vehicle?
Yeah, so right now it's just using the 4 power generation methods. So the wall input would be able to plug into a wall, not like, so you could plug it into the like car battery as well. So wall or car battery, yeah.
What is preventing traction today as far as on the direct to consumer side, if you have individual unit, as far as pre-sales or traction for kind of getting initial revenue in?
Yeah, we're just finalizing the design right now. So we have this currently generating power, and we're looking to get this in the hands of consumers very soon to get some beta testing. And then at that point, in the near future, we'll manufacture in-house a small amount and get this in the hands of customers.
Yep, our time is up. Thank you so much. Next up is Divan Kobatuka from Greenbox presents next. Hi, Divan. Why don't you get in presentation mode and then away you go. Your 3 minutes will start.
That is the big problem you are solving in Africa, post-harvest losses. If food loss and waste were a country, it will be the 3rd largest emitter of greenhouse gases. I'm Divan Kobatuka, co-founder of Greenbox. For these problems, this is our solutions: a solar power cold room, a walk-in refrigerator, well designed, that will be installed inside the market or inside the farm. We stock perishable food in the cold room so that we can extend the shelf life of the perishable food from 2 days to 21 days. With this, we have completely eliminated free and waste in Congo. So it is a simple technology for the problem that is complex, but the solution is simple. According to Rockefeller Foundation, the market of perishable food in Congo is $200 million. We have 33. We have launched 2 Greenbox in the market. For one year for operation, we have been able to preserve for more than 2,000 metric tons for perishable food. We have over 100 smallholder farmers and retailers have been increased their income by using our technology. We have created 4 new jobs for women. I'm the CEO of Greenbox. We are 4 in the direction team with expertise in coaching, marketing, and technology. Year following, we need 100 to build 10 Greenbox inside the market, inside the farmer across Congo. Our strategy will focus on the Congo market to develop our solutions with 12 Greenbox. After 2 years, we'll go to Kenya for 200 Greenbox, and then we'll go to Congo RDC with 500 Greenbox. Thank you for your attention.
Divin, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Okay, I'd like to open it up to the judges for 2 minutes of Q&A.
How many green boxes do you currently have built right now?
Now we have created 2 Greenbox in the market.
How much does it cost to build a green box?
So we have 2 models, business models. First of all, we charge Greenbox with a smallholder farmer by $0.5 a night to rent 1 plastic of products. So each box can contain 150 cases for annual revenue, $27,000. But we can also sell Greenbox to the professional by order. The price is $35,000.
How much of the box can be sourced locally? The components of the box. I noticed you have some panels. What else can be sourced locally?
Yes. One box can take 10 tons of products. So that can determine with 150 cases. We put the product in the cases inside the cold room.
I meant the components of the box itself, not the cases, but the parts that you use to build the box. How much of that can be found locally?
Also, we use the cold room panels. We need 10 cold room panels to create 1 box, and then cold room panels, the solar panels and batteries to connect that to have it is a local technology.
Do you have any competitors?
So we have alone in Brazzaville or around Africa. We don't have Greenbox. So the competition is the company who use the freezer, but our target of market we use fruit and vegetable and all the perishable food. So we have a lone enterprise in Congo Brazzaville and Africa, in Congo Brazzaville. We use the solar power to make a greenhouse. So we have the competition like AgroSys in Congo Brazzaville use the power to make.
Thank you for your answer. We're out of the 2-minute time. That was great though. Okay, this concludes the energy portion. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and resume with impact category. This one is so exciting. I would like to say thank you all for attending the BoomStartup PitchUp 2 Finals. Impact category is the winner is going to receive $1,000 in cash, as well as $1,000 in Measy report. And all finalists of this category will be getting a market analysis report by Measy as well. The first person that will be presenting today is Gareth Walcom from With VR from Ghent, Belgium. Gareth was mentored by Shandathana Hawk and was referred into the competition by Startit at KBC. With VR, better prepares people with speech impediments for real-life speaking situations. Next up will be Julian Jerzerick from Enzel Analytics from Heber City, Utah, United States. He was mentored by Greg Keller, and Enzel Analytics defines what the real estate market has done, is doing, and where it is going by using ML and AI. And last, we have Willem Van Der Rohe from EYES. Willem is from Antwerp, Belgium, and is mentored by Shandana Hawk. Willem was referred into the competition by Jim Nicolo from Startit at KBC. So Startit, well done. Y'all are all about the impact. EYES assist blind and visually impaired people to navigate safely from point A to point B with computer vision AI on a mobile device. I'm going to stop sharing, and Gareth, you shall go up first.
They say it takes about 7 seconds to make a first impression, and I just stuttered for all of those. For most of my life, I found it difficult to use my voice, to come out of my comfort zone and to say exactly what I want to say in speaking situations, just like this pitch. And I'm not alone. There are over 234 million people in the world with a speech disorder like me. That equals a whopping 42 billion US dollars. Since 2015, I've been researching how virtual reality can be used for people like me, highlighting that VR presents a safe space to speak. And that's exactly what we are doing at With VR. At With VR, we are making it our priority to utilize the powerful tool of virtual reality, where people with speech disorders can better prepare for real-life speaking situations and use their voice whenever they like, no matter their difference. We are creating two solutions. One is a VR mobile app for home to practice. Two is VR software for speech therapists and researchers, giving them the ability to control every aspect of the speaking situation. And both of these will be, start their beta testing later this month. Using With VR, you can create any situation you like, and challenge yourself for upcoming speaking situations. At With VR, one of our core values is impacting the community. And that's why we've decided to donate 10% of the subscription fees to a non-profit charity of the user's choice. Since With VR was founded on International Stuttering Awareness Day last year, we have created collaborations with 68 clinics, labs, and hospitals in 21 different countries worldwide. That's 17 states in the US. We've also created collaborations with HTC5 and more. In the last 3 minutes, you've experienced someone with a speech disorder. You've perhaps seen how difficult it can be to speak. So now I ask you, what will you do for the other 234 million?
Well done, Gareth, well done. Thank you so much. I'd like to go ahead and open this up for the 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges. Judges, please unmute yourself and ask away.
Can you explain what VR does for someone with a speech impediment versus just, looking at a monitor like I am right now?
Yeah, within VR, who are fully immersed by the speaking situation itself, and it feels much more realistic opposed to on a 2D screen or watching a video. And there's a lot of research behind this that shows that virtual reality can be related to the real thing.
Hi, I saw you had a demo in beta. How far is your product, and do you have any paying customers?
So we don't have any paying customers yet, but we have a lot of people who are ready to start to use it. First, of course, they would like to test it. The software for speech therapists is pretty much ready to use, and both will start the beta testing later this month.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Great job, Gareth. Julian, if you can, share your screen.
All righty, good morning and hello, everyone. My name is Julian Jerzrick, and I am excited to bring you Enzo Analytics, the premier real estate analytics company. So what is the market doing is a surprisingly difficult question to answer by many realtors due to the simple fact that all homes are unique. Take my wife and I's home in Massachusetts. It was in a desirable part of town, had many new amenities, but our realtors still had trouble pricing the home correctly. And it's not necessarily the realtor's fault. It's just that up to this point, technology hadn't enabled an easier way to study the market. The top 3 responses that realtors typically give each have their own issues with tracking the market, as most are stuck in 90s era analysis. Which is why I built Enzo, a first of its kind real-time residential real estate market tracker that not only enables true market analysis on the go, but also neighborhood level tracking, which no other organization in real estate analytics is doing at this time. So we're able to do this due to recent innovations in the multiple listing services or MLS community. MLSs are where realtors store their listing data, which act as a centralized marketplace for realtors to grab updated information. By plugging directly into the MLS and pulling data via cloud technologies, Enzo is able to provide a real-time view of what the market is doing in certain areas. And what's more, we are the only organization who has combined principles from other markets, specifically portfolio optimization techniques within the equity and bond markets, with international standards of indexing, which is the basis for our patent pending Enzo Market Index. The Enzo Market Index was designed to correlate with 9 different market variables, each of the 9 being optimized to detect when it is excessively trending, either to favor buyers or favor sellers. And the real estate world is only growing, with 2021 already having 7.1 million home sales, and the number of realtors in the United States grew to 1.53 million. In terms of traction and validation, we are still pre-seed, pre-revenue, and truly in the infancy stages of our startup. However, despite being brand new, we were able to get the attention of UtahRealEstate.com, the largest MLS in Utah, which validated our product idea. We were also able to get into the Bunker Labs WeWork incubator program, get in technology investments from the Google Cloud Startups program, and recently got into the BoomStartup world. All of this in about a year of when Enzo was formed in July of 2020. And lastly, here's our Enzo Analytics team. I myself have a background in business analytics, data science, computer engineering, and served as a Marine officer for 5 years. My 2 advisors, Paul Perot and Martin Giroux, enable strategic and tactical business insights that I incorporate into my organization. So, thank you for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions at all, let's go ahead and hear them. If not, I can actually show you a demonstration of the product as well.
Hey, Julian, can you talk a little bit with how you're going to be selling this out in the marketplace? Is this going to be going back out to the MLSs as an additional service that they can provide to their members, their realtor members? Or is this going to be—
That is a great question, Chris. Yes, so our go-to-market strategy revolves around the MLS first. So whenever I had mentioned MLS innovations, the Real Estate Standards Organization, or RESO for short, recently came out and stated everyone needs to switch from the antiquated Real Estate Transaction Standard, or RETS, to the REST standard, which anyone who has who's worked in software knows that the world revolves around REST APIs. So that's the reason why I'm able to build these data pipelines in Google Cloud to pull that data. So I like to call us an add-on to the MLS.
Okay, awesome. I just you're going to have to negotiate with 600 different MLSs across the U.S. That's an awesome, audacious goal. So good luck. I think that's great. Data analytics in real estate is that's something that's got a huge need.
Agreed. Thank you, Chris.
Julian, can you tell us a little bit about the machine learning algorithms and whether you're using a service that's hosted up in the cloud or whether you're actually running and hosting your own proprietary algorithm?
Yeah, great question, Nick. So the algorithm itself revolves around the comparables analysis. So what I mean by that is we kind of took what realtors were already doing and we operationalized that. From there, everything I'm doing right now is in Google Cloud. I kind of validated everything with my own local server first. So pulling data, created a historical archive, and then validated that my index actually worked, which was kind of fun whenever I was talking to the COO of UtahRealEstate.com, Casey, and validating what he was hearing from realtors, I was seeing using my index. So it was pretty neat seeing how both of them matched.
Thank you so much, Julian. Our time is up. That was awesome. Willem, great to see you. If you want to go ahead and share your screen. Perfect. You are on, my friend.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Willem Van Der Rohe. I'm one of the founders of EYES, where we deliver a live navigational assistant for visually impaired. So the idea started a few months ago when our visually impaired friend, Bram, told us about his difficulties while walking around in the street. For example, he's not able to detect a traffic light. He often bumps into objects. He has issues locating the sidewalk, the crosswalk, and he often loses sense of orientation, even though that he has memorized his routes. So this means that for him, it's very hard to explore new places. And unfortunately, Bram is not alone. There are over 300 million visually impaired people in the world, and every 5 seconds, one person goes blind. So the problem of Bram is not the only issue associated with visually impaired. There's also the problem of trying to solve this issue. For example, for cities. An example is that New York City has about $9 million to spend every year on the accessible pedestrian systems, where they have the ticking sound when it's red or green. And moreover, 93% of New York City is not equipped with those signals. Here in Belgium, they even have to stop after 10 p.m. because of the noise complaints from the neighbors. So that's why EYES has created a live navigational assistant, AKA, as we call him, Buddy, where we detect the sidewalk, the crosswalk, all kinds of obstacles, and the pedestrian traffic light state. All of this runs on a mobile application, which means that no expensive hardware is needed. And moreover, it all runs locally. That means that no cellular connection is required, which can be very important if you're standing at a traffic light and you, for example, say that it's green, but it's already red again if you have bad cellular connection. Also, because it's in the mobile application, it's much more scalable, and we are first to market with this kind of solution. So where are we right now? We have our first product that is beta testing right now, which is the Traffic Light Buddy, which is an APS system that fits in your pocket, where the camera detects the pedestrian traffic light, generates an audible signal, and then relays that information back to the user so that they know if it's red or green. Important, again, no Wi-Fi or cellular connection is required. And the community of blind and visually impaired is very enthusiastic about the product. That's why we also have created Data Hero, because we saw a lot of interest from different regions all over the world. But an AI algorithm needs a lot of data. So that's why we are collecting data through the Data Hero app, where visually impaired people that know each other collect data while walking the streets and then upload the data directly to us through the Data Hero app. We will make our initial Traffic Light Buddy available for €5 a month.
Willem, you are so good, but a little bit long. But thank you so much for telling us about EYES. No, you're fine. You're fine. We're going to open this up to the 2 minutes of judging Q&A. Judges, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask questions.
How does the person wear the camera?
Good question. So initially, the person needs to hold the camera on the chest, but we do envision that we are gonna develop some kind of chest strap where the iPhone clicks in and also charges at the same time. But initially for a startup, developing a hardware is capital intensive, so we focus on software at the moment.
Is there more data like that you can sell from this data hero side? Like eventually will the traffic light buddy be free?
Eventually yeah, indeed. But the data hero and the generation, we need some kind of revenue at the beginning.
Cool. Can you please explain how, if they are blind, how they're, is it noises? Is it vibration? How are they getting the feedback?
Yeah, good question. So the information gets back to them through audio and haptic feedback. So it's almost like a ticking sound when it's red, and then a faster ticking sound when it's green, similar to the accessible pedestrian systems that are available if it's installed at a traffic light.
So that's also whenever they get close to something that they're going to bump into, the same reaction would happen?
Yeah, similar, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of how much capital you need to just push it forward?
Initially, in the pre-seed money, we aim to raise about 300K.
Well, thank you so much. This was fantastic. All right, now this concludes our impact category. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty blown away. And I'd like to just talk a little bit about the PitchUp 2 Global Pitch Competition. I love to emphasize that this is global because, you know what, we had people from 20 countries participate in this event, which absolutely blows me away. And I just want to thank the Global Accelerator Network, or what's known as GAN, for helping promote our program to all the other accelerators across this world. BoomStartup Accelerator is a founding member of GAN, and we really appreciate working side by side with other accelerators and incubators because, as mentioned before, companies grow, find new challenges, insert themselves into new communities, and it's accelerators like ours that make a difference. So I'd like to just say hats off to the 200 plus founders that applied and entered this pitch competition. It's absolutely lovely to see places like the Philippines, Indonesia, Germany, Congo, UK, Ukraine, Kenya, you know, on this map in addition to the United States. So thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and jump to the next category. So let's go into productivity. Okay, so productivity the winner will receive $1,000 in cash and a $1,000 Mezi report, which will be awarded afterwards. All finalists will get a market analysis report by Mezi. The first to go is Sean Stallings from Empathy, and he's from Cedar Hills, Utah. Sean was mentored by Nancy Meyer and referred into the competition by yours truly. Empathy is the Airbnb of influencer marketing. Next will be Garrett Wang from Surbrek. Garrett is from New York City, United States. He was mentored by Arthur E. Benjamin, and Surbrek empowers data scientists to help develop AI without coding, like watch out. Last is Derek Dorner from Schedulehead. Derek was mentored by Chris Maresca, and Schedulehead automates scheduling, payroll, and communication for the gig economy by using and leveraging AI. So with no further ado, I'm going to stop sharing, and Sean, it is your show.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, judges, for giving your time to be here today. My name is Sean Stallings, and I'm the founder and CEO of Amplify, the Airbnb of influencer marketing, a Utah County-based startup. In the last 5 years, influencer marketing has absolutely exploded with no signs of letting up. With a projected market size of nearly $14 billion in 2021 and an estimated 30% CAGR over the next 5 years, influencer marketing will soon be in every company's marketing plan, no matter the size of the brand. But the tools in this space only cater to enterprise marketing teams, not the time-constrained small or mid-sized business owners. And that is where Amplify will dominate. Small brands have been boxed out by tools with expensive subscriptions, stuffy agencies only allowing their influencers to work with name brands, and other tools that are simply too expensive and too feature heavy for small and mid-sized brands. All of this bringing SMBs to the reality that if they want to engage in influencer marketing, they've got to do it the old-fashioned way, Open up Instagram, prepare for an hours-long tedious scrolling session, then sending a million cold messages. Also, a substandard influencer with fake engagement agrees to do an overpriced feature which achieves the next to no results. Do you see the issue here? It's unsustainable. And frankly, the barrier to influencer marketing is just too high for most brands to even start, let alone scale. But not anymore. Introducing Amplify, the free marketplace with direct access to ready-to-book influencers, where the only cost to the brand is the influencer's listing price, which is where we take our 14% fee. Simply hop on to amplify.io, set your filters, find and book the perfect influencer. So easy, anyone can do it. Amplify is 3 months old, and we've spent virtually nothing on marketing. In the first 2 months, when it was just me, I grew Amplify to 150 influencers and 20 brands looking for influencers, and even had a few transactions. Since launching our first paid marketing campaign at the beginning of this week, we've more than doubled and nearly tripled the amount of brands looking for influencers on our platform. In addition to that campaign, we also started plans for a revenue sharing program for referrals to Amplify. Also recently, we attracted and brought on a superstar founding team, starting with Griffin Bell, a data scientist who's come on board to construct a recommendation system for brands to automatically find the best influencers. He's also involved in strategy and operations. Mitchell Soto, an IT consultant and the most technical member of our team, is developing the next iteration of the Amplify platform with some huge improvements based on customer feedback, which is set to launch soon. Finally, myself, a recent MBA graduate from Boise State University with background in e-com, digital marketing, and most recently leaving a private equity firm to start Amplify. With this team, we're well equipped to capture market share, which, as you can see with our current business model alone, not even the countless opportunities available to us, we can quickly generate a massive amount of revenue. Today, we're seeking $250,000 to help Amplify dominate the influencer marketing space for SMBs.
You're right there, Sean. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and open up the 2-minute Q&A for the judges.
Can you talk about your recent paid campaign, how much you spent, and again, what the results of that were?
Absolutely. So we started on Monday, and we're up to like $175. So it was just an experiment to see what the results would be. And we've had almost 40 conversions based off of that $175 of brands. That's who we're specifically targeting.
And how do you target the influencers to get them on the platform?
So when we approach influencers, we haven't done any paid marketing for influencers yet, but when we do approach that, we'll create a lookalike audience based off of an email list that we're able to capture of influencers. You can't target based off of following. So you can't say, I only want to target, 5 to 20,000 followers from Instagram, but we can create an email list based off of those individuals. And then using ads, we can create a lookalike audience to find those individuals.
Influencers, in my experience, typically follow one another. Can you talk a little bit about your team and the experience in your team about being an influencer and the business of that?
Sure. Our team, out of the three of us, have maybe a combined 2,000, 3,000 followers across all social platforms. So we're not necessarily influencers. However, we've made good relationships with influencers to this point and other notable influencers, especially in the Utah County area. And so we're really coming from that digital marketing background from the brand perspective. And then we're able to leverage some of those relationships. And then also, frankly, there's almost 500 million Instagram profiles with over 1,000 followers. So the supply is just so huge. And they're all looking for a way to monetize that we offer an easy way to do that hasn't existed for them in the past.
Thank you so much, Sean. That was fantastic. Your time is up. Okay, thank you so much. Judges, next up is Garrett Wing from Surbrick. Garrett, please go ahead and share your screen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gary Wang. I'm a co-founder of Surbrick. Surbrick is a cloud-based platform to develop artificial intelligence. We're disruptive to the current way of AI development because Surbrick is a completely no-code experience that saves time and money. And we sign letters of intent with beta testers from large and small companies too. So the rise of AI-powered application is inevitable. Over $150 billion are being spent annually in the US for developing AI on the cloud. But developing AI is technically challenging and also time-consuming. The question is not about whether to make AI development easier, but how. Surbrick is on a mission to maximize the productivity of data scientists and minimize the cost of AI development. Most vendors we've seen are selling their platforms to top management, telling them to replace data scientists. But the current AI advancement is far from being ready to replace data scientists. And Cerberus is different. Cerberus empowers data scientists, not replace them. We sell directly to our target user and their team leads through AI communities because we know their exact pain points in AI development. And we let them to communicate this cost reduction message to their top management. With Cerberus, users can create AI on the cloud, all with drag and drop, making it easier than ever to interact with data and walk through AI architecture. Here, I'm stepping into one of those components. Every AI component here is fully transparent and editable. Data scientists can customize any AI component coming from the latest research papers without the hassle of coding or configuring the cloud machines. This ultimately gives data scientists a fast and easy way to clean raw data, understand existing and create new AI models, evaluate results, deploy AI for production. But is this just for novices? What about advanced data scientists who can code? Just because they can code doesn't mean they prefer to code for everything. I set my alarm last night without writing a single line of code. Coding is time-consuming and error-prone. Cerberus lets users focus on building AI, not on coding or software engineering. So far, the reception has been very positive, and our beta testers say they are inspired to develop more and better AI models. Our testers are data scientists working on natural language processing and time series analysis at companies like Colgate and AQR. And we already secured multiple letters of intent here. So this is Cerberus, a completely no-code experience that saves time and money to develop AI. And find out more at cerberus.com or contact me at garrett@cerberus.com. Thank you very much.
Great job with 2 seconds to spare. I love it. Okay, I'd like to open it up to the judges to go ahead and unmute themselves and ask questions in the next 2 minutes.
Awesome presentation. Can you talk a little bit about your revenue model and how, if you are deploying the AIs, with the varying level of processing costs, how you're going to make sure that you don't end up spending more on the actual hosting that you're providing than you're charging?
Very good question. So our revenue model is we're charging 10% of the AWS cost, and that's our gross margin. And basically, we don't charge any subscription fee. We only charge when users are spending money, are spending computing time on the cloud. And that's a sizable, even though the gross margin is very small, that's a sizable revenue because the cloud expense is very large.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great approach. Thanks.
Thank you.
How are you guys planning to sell the product? Is it direct to the data scientists, or is it kind of a bootstrap, people getting into the market learning AI?
So we're currently selling directly to our target user data scientists. And basically we broadcast this to the community, to AI community, where they usually go to for question and answers. And that's like a bottom-up approach, because we are very good at communicating the pinpoint message to those target users and let them to communicate the cost reduction message to their top management.
And are they able to just buy it themselves, or do they have to go through like an IT management and then back down?
Right. So what we've seen so far is that decision makers are usually the middle management, like the data science team leads or engineering managers. So they're able to make a call because they're already spending money on the cloud. They just need to switch to using Cerberus, and the cloud expense is basically no change.
Okay, thank you so much. That was fantastic. Garrett, we're going to go ahead and let Derek Dorner, the last person for the productivity, onto the stage.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. So my name is Derek. I'm the founder of Schedulehead. What we do is we're an HRIS that we make AI that automates a lot of processes for gig economy companies. So specifically things like scheduling, communication, payroll, all kinds of different HR tasks inside of the HRIS, within an HRIS platform. Why gig economy? Because it's complicated. There's not a lot of tools that serve it out there, and it really there's a lot of room for growth when we can apply AI to things like that. So a really classic example is probably things like a catering company. That's what we spun out of, you know, because you have hundreds and thousands of employees that, you know, you need to figure out who needs to go where, you know, and the logistics are significantly more complicated when you're talking about scheduling and payroll and communication and all those things. So, you know, you can imagine it gets that much more complicated when you're talking about multiple states or multiple countries. So we automate all that stuff. And that's exactly what our AI does, is it helps me automate all those things. I apologize, I'm moving quick. I got a lot to say. But after COVID, so we launched in 2019, you know, scaled down for COVID and then scaled back up. But during that time, we started actually applying our AI to COVID vaccination sites. So that's probably about 25% of our business right now. Like, for example, we do the COVID rollout for the entire Philippines, which is a perfect fit for our AI because, as you know, it's a series of islands, which makes it that much more complicated. But, you know, we also did New York, LA. We just signed an agreement to do the Mississippi vaccination sites. So we do all kinds of different stuff. Even during COVID, we had a 95% customer retention rate. So we get really excellent feedback from our clients. We serve the entire gig economy, which I think next year is supposed to be a $500 billion part of the economy. We do all kinds of different stuff. It's not just the traditional stuff like food and beverage, catering and conventions and all the kind of event-based stuff we think of, but it's also things like telemedicine, disaster response, things within education and universities. So we do, you know, within the traditional gig economy, these are some of our clients. But, you know, we also do things like movie production. So we work, you know, so companies like Disney and Netflix and things like that use us. And then, as I mentioned, vaccination programs. We are a typical subscription SaaS model. So we charge per seat with a scalable pricing model. So we charge about $3 as the enterprise pricing. We get into $5 to $10 per seat. Our sweet spot is right around 100 to 10,000 plus. We have some clients that are more than 10,000 workers when they, you know, especially if they're spread out over multiple countries. And it looks like I'm about coming up on my time, but what we want to focus on in the future is just making ourselves more enterprise ready in the next version of our AI. Thanks for listening, guys.
That's awesome. Great job. Okay, we're going to open it up to the 2-minute Q&A.
You guys can serve everybody, but who are you actually going after today?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say everybody. It's gig economy only. So the way that I like to phrase it is, if you have really complex scheduling and payroll needs, we're a good fit for you. So, you know, the chain of Subway sandwich shops is not a good fit because they're not going to spend $500 per month per store on using AI to figure out their scheduling needs. If you own a stadium or you're rolling out vaccinations, things like that, which is exactly a lot of what we do right now, then we're a really good fit for you.
Right, but in who in that are you targeting for right now? Like gig economy is not a person. Like, are you going after stadiums? Are you going after?
Yeah, stadiums, healthcare providers, the states themselves. We partner with and target organizations at every level. Yeah, so like with vaccinations, for example, the vaccination programs are typically contracted with a state or a country to a particular healthcare provider, and then we work with that particular healthcare provider. Does that answer your question?
Kinda.
Derek, hey, who's your competition? Who else is doing this? And
yeah, our competition is really doing it the hard way. So like what we do is we go in and we relieve entire departments of doing things on spreadsheets. So, you know, it's really just doing it the manual way.
Have you found that's a barrier at all to your product kind of allows people to fire people? Is that a barrier, getting rid of head count?
Depends on who your target is, but no, in general, it's a feature, you know, greatly so, especially when we're talking to larger enterprises.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time, Derek. And hats off to everyone in the productivity category. I loved how diverse this was. Next up is health and wellness. This is one of the most exciting categories, especially being here in the heart of Utah. I want to first thank so much Rehabilitation Health. They are putting up $5,000, and I think I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see the screen? Is that working? Yeah, okay, awesome. So Health and Wellness is putting up $5,000 in services and consulting. to the winner of this category. Also, $1,000 in cash by Assure, and $1,000 Meza report will be awarded to the winner. Plus, all finalists in health and wellness will get a market analysis report. I would like to first introduce Karthik Rahman from Papyrus Bio, and he was mentored by Shandathana Hawk from Altitude Lab. He was referred to the pitch competition by Taylor Bench from the Midday Connect. And Papyrus Bio rapidly expedites conjugation chemistry through pre-optimized chemistry kits. Why this is important, it shortens the time for next generation drugs and diagnostics to occur. It's very important nowadays. Next up will be Joe Connell from New S. Joe is from Dunbar, Pennsylvania, and he was mentored by Shandathana Hawk as well. He was referred to the pitch competition by Chris Kager, who is a medical doctor. And New S creates human skin substitute from soybeans. And then we have Karin Frame from Makina. She's from Boulder, Colorado, and she was mentored by Nancy Meyer. She was referred to into the pitch competition by Taylor Bench from the Midday Connect, as well as Joel McKay Smith. Thank you both. Makina is a BEAST certified loyalty program that rewards consumers with incentives for buying better, while providing brands with real-time shopper insights and data for a fraction of the cost of other providers. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and let's have Karthik jump in.
So hi judges, my name is Karthik and I'm the founder of Papyrus Bio. We all know that the cost of creating a new drug is just way too high. It takes way too much time as well. In a recent study by Tufts University, it was found that the cost of the average new drug is about $2.5 billion and that it takes about 10 years of time. So one reason for this is because drug development is a very complex process. It involves a lot of complex chemistry, and it takes months of time to research and to optimize. So what we do at Papyrus Bio is to develop some innovative technology that enables pharma scientists to save up to 8 months worth of time during that drug development process. And so parts of the drug development process that would have taken 9 months now just take 1 month with us. What we do is we sell kits that are pre-optimized so that pharma scientists can attach molecules together and make complex drugs faster. With our kits, scientists don't spend as much time researching, optimizing, and scaling up. And what you see here is that each kit contains our proprietary reagents for assembling the drugs, as well as purification consumables so that scientists can then purify those complex drugs that they make. And they include user guides so that any researcher can use our kits and get things done. We're about 8 months from the launch of our first kits. In terms of reach, it's absolutely massive, right? Papyrus Bio kits can be used to create drugs for multi-billion-dollar markets. Here we've shown that we have planned kits for nanomedicine, for immunotherapy, infectious diseases like COVID, and many, many more areas. Each kit costs about $500. The range is between $300 and $1,000. And by buying them, scientists not only save on the labor time, which is about 8 months, but they also are able to launch their products earlier, and they save lives sooner, and they can pull forward all of that revenue. So for many drugs, the 8 months saved by our kits can translate to hundreds of millions of additional revenue that these scientists are able to pull forward within the pharma companies. And in terms of traction, our company is only 2 months old, but we already have 20 beta customers. Here are just a few of our key customers in academia and in industry. So our ask for you today is to invest $1,000 in us so that we can hire a consultant who can get us $250,000 in NSF SBIR funding. This allows us to create those kits sooner because we're able to do all the R&D. And in the end, that enables our pharma scientists to create the next generation of drugs faster. Here's our wonderful team at Papyrus Bio. Between us, we have over 2 decades of experience in the chemistry needed for the kits and several years of commercialization and manufacturing experience. Thank you very much. I'll open up to questions now.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Karthik. Okay, we're going to start the 2 minutes for Q&A from the judges. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm wondering what, I have two questions actually. Your go-to-market strategy and then how much it costs to produce a kit.
Absolutely. So our go-to-market strategy is to go after university researchers and startups first. And this is because they're the easiest to reach and they're the most interested in buying our kits because they have very little time and very little money. So, they can pull forward a lot of their drugs and development a lot sooner. And in terms of the cost of the kits, it's about $96 inclusive of labor.
You said you have 20 beta customers. Are those paying customers, or help us understand what that traction is?
Yeah, so the beta customers are all about testing our kits before buying them. But we did do an experiment, which was interesting. We made a beta website. We put up all of our products on there. And then, we made it look like it was a legitimate website that you could buy things from. And we threw some ads against it. Just with Facebook ads over the course of 2 weeks and $200, we were able to get $10,000 worth of sales.
How long does it usually take for you to create one of these kits?
About 3 days. So like the R&D, of course, takes a lot longer, but the time just to make a kit is very little.
Why haven't pharma companies done this kind of thing? It seems like a great idea. I'm just wondering, why hasn't anyone else done it?
Oh, there are actually others that have done it. So the larger companies, they have kits for kind of the mainstream products like antibodies and proteins. We're making kits for the emerging markets. Think nanoparticles, lipids, carbohydrates. Those are like emerging, they're completely new, like the Novavax vaccine. That one had a nanoparticle with a protein attached to it. Brand new, very few of those in the market.
Okay, that is so cool and above my head. I think that is so awesome. Karthik, great job. Your time is up. And then allow Joe Connell into the room. Thank you so much, Karthik.
Hi, I'm Karen, CEO of Makina, and we connect brands with shoppers for good. I'm a repeat shopper or a repeat founder in the natural products industry. I'm super passionate about this space because when I was a kid, my dad built a house on a lake across the street from a cornfield that was sprayed with pesticides every year. As a result, everyone got sick. So I know firsthand the importance of what we put in and on our bodies, and I'm not alone. 98% of consumers would buy better, especially if it was affordable. And because I have been in the industry, I know many brands that have started off in farmers markets, grown this loyal following, and then ended up in large retail chains only to get lost on the shelf and go out of business because consumers couldn't discover and find their products. Collectively, brands are spending billions of dollars on social media to get discovered, and even more for data to figure out who their shoppers are, where they're shopping, and what's in their basket. Makina solves these problems. For the consumer, it's through our free mobile app where consumers can discover, find, and save on products that meet either their dietary needs or lifestyle preferences. And for the brand, it's through our proprietary insights dashboard. Once a consumer downloads Makina, they can engage with brands, purchase products anywhere, even online. And when they have the product in hand, all they have to do is scan the barcode, submit the receipt through the app, and earn cash and rewards for buying better. For brands, it's fast. Through our platform, we collect data directly from the consumer and provide it to the brand. So it's easy for the brand to collect loyal consumers 64% of the time. The natural products industry is $252 billion in sales and growing at 10% year over year. In addition, Makina ties into the health and wellness trend. We sell our platform as a service to brands, but the real value of Makina is in the data we collect. So far, we've collected 140,000 receipts from over 32,000 points of sale. We have 110,000 registered shoppers, and with our newsletter, we reach over 1 million consumers. Additionally, we have a variety of strategic partners. We're also generating revenue and have over 100 brand customers with thousands of products on our platform, with another 600 deals in our pipeline. We've increased our sales 200% month over month, and by the end of the year, we're on track to sell over $1 million in mobile subscriptions. Our team is highly experienced in CPG, data, and retail. In addition to being a repeat founder, I'm a JD and CPA. My founding CTO, David, has built software companies for Techstars-backed companies. Rick has a background in health. Our advisors were executives at Nielsen, Pepsi, and Walmart. Our shoppers love us, so do our brands. We're currently part of Mass Challenge's Cohort 50, and here are some of our key investors in earned media. So download Makina today to get $4 on us. And if you're really excited about what we're building, we're raising our seed and would love to talk.
You did it right on time. That was perfect. Well done, Karen. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and open up questions to the judges for the next 2 minutes.
I didn't hear how much you're trying to raise for your seed.
Hi, we're raising $2 million, and we've raised almost 600,000 in our pre-seed.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how you screen the products that you're going to have on the website so that you make sure that you maintain your brand image going forward?
Yes. So we're not just on, we're a mobile app, but we do have a website as well, and consumers can still search through the website, but we're really a mobile app that collects data for these brands. So I've been in the industry since 1994, and I have a lot of friends in this space. We also work with a couple of different providers and attribute type companies like the Non-GMO Verified Project, USDA Organic, the Fair Trade Association, and Certified B Corporation. We're part of the Certified B Corporation group. But anything that is good for you, good for your family, and good for the planet is what we are putting on Makina. And most of them have several attributes.
What's been some of the biggest things you've seen or the company has done in the last 2 years? You guys pitched Park City Angels a couple of years ago, and I'd love to know what big changes you guys have made.
So we've worked on our technology quite a bit, and we've onboarded hundreds of thousands of consumers. We've done a lot of testing with our brands, and we have a lot of big partnerships. One of the ones that we're working on right now is a partnership with a media company that's got 16,000 retailers in its community of retailers, and we're going to be selling data to those retailers. So we've made quite a bit of progress.
That's a fantastic presentation, and the 2-minute Q&A is up. Well done, Karen, Joe, and Karthik. Thank you so much for your contributions with health and wellness. I love how diverse this is. Last and certainly not least is Joe Connell from New-S. Joe, come on in.
I'm Joe Connell, and I'm founder and CEO of New-S. And New-S creates human skin substitute from soybeans. So let's talk about skin for a minute. 60% of everything we are is our skin, and yet not one of us will ever get through life without damaging it in some way or another, some more severely than others. But if you imagine that everyone's going to damage their skin, we are pulling from a huge market potential of a minimum of $78 billion right now, and it is growing. So let's look at the problem. There are a lot of skin substitutes and bandages on the market, but they come in 3 varieties: unavailable, unaffordable, and unacceptable. Unavailable are those products, they are made from pigs, cows, and cadavers. They call for refrigeration, laboratory growth, or storage problems. Some are so expensive that they have been put out of the market. And with pigs, cows, and cadaverous sources, there are cultures and religions around the world that won't accept them for therapy. We've solved all that with a plant-based product with greater efficacy, greater acceptability, and a lower cost, which I'll prove. This is my competition, and you'll see the derivatives. They're from neonatal foreskins and placenta and pig intestines. So we have greater efficacy with a plant-based product at a lower cost. Here's proof that a full thickness wound was healed with minimal to no scar using our Omega Skin, and this is in the scientific literature today. So it's disruptive. We are healing full thickness wounds with minimal to no scar. And at the end of healing, the patients have intact hair follicles and sweat glands, as opposed to covering it up with other bandages and having a thick, slick scar. So it's more acceptable. And even though the risk might be small, there's less cross-infection than you have with animal and cadaverous tissue. It's pre-manufactured, lightweight. There's no expiration date, which makes it the perfect product for our Department of Defense. Every warfighter should have lightweight, readily available sheet of Omega Skin in their backpack. It's easy to handle, doesn't expire, not heat sensitive. So it's the first and only plant-derived skin. We've completed our animal studies. We're in front of the FDA now asking for approval. Our second product in the pipeline is a liquid sprayable skin, and we have IP surrounding a proprietary handheld spinner. So we're going to go with the 510K route. We are seeking a $5 million A round, which will give us 3 commercial launches of products. And we want this in separate tranches of $1 million based on milestones that we will perform and get the 3 products onto the market. What drives us? This.
Okay, Joe, your 3 minutes is up, my dear, but great job on the presentation. And I am in suspense as to what drives you. We'll have to get back to that later. Let's open it up for 2 minutes Q&A with the judges.
Who are you selling this to? Like, is it sort of direct to consumer, like a second skin kind of thing? Or is it, you know, clinician?
This will not be sold to consumers. It'll be to wound clinics, hospitals, mostly the Department of Defense for application in austere situations where we can spray a new sheet of skin onto the patient because we don't think we can transport them in that golden hour that we were used to with warfare before.
I'll ask the easy one, which is finish up what drives you.
What drives me is this patient right here who's broad jumping on a leg rebuilt with 360 skin grafts. That's 360 new wounds, 360 new scars that could have been prevented if our product were on the market at the time. I know because this patient is me and I was burned to the bone, never supposed to walk again. So it's more than business. It's my mission to help as many people like me prevent those surgeries as possible, including our veterans and our warfighters. This is me in high school a long time ago.
Thank you so much. This was fantastic, Joe. This concludes our health and wellness. Again, such great variety from Karthik, Joe, and Karen. Really appreciate it. All righty, we are on to the financial category. Thank you so much for joining BoomStartup's PitchUp Two Finals. Very excited about the financial category because $1,000 in cash is being awarded to the finalist, or excuse me, the winner of the category, thanks to Assure. Also, the winner will receive a $1,000 Mezi report. And all finalists will get a market analysis report by Mezi as well. I'd like to introduce Dan Beck from West Jordan, Utah. He's the CEO of 401 Go. Dan was mentored by Robert Bishop, and Robert is a BoomStartup mentor, of course. And 401 Go addresses America's retirement savings crisis by improving access at work and education programs. After Dan will be Carlton Van Putten from Lehi, Utah. Carlton was mentored by Robert Bishop as well, and he was referred to this program by moi. PayRent provides tools and services for independent landlords to help their renters by never missing a month's rent. And the last person to present in the financial category is Artem Levin of Value Network from Dover, Delaware. Artem was mentored by Robert Bishop as well. Robert, thank you for taking this category. Value Network, decentralized predictions, market protocol. You think options like futures and options by leveraging Ethereum, Qtum, and Binance Smart Chain blockchain. This mitigates risks of scams that plague binary options trading because the bets are done peer-to-peer. And so this is a really cool thing. With no further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and let's have Dan take over.
Okay, so I am Dan with 401 Go, and this is a snapshot of my ideal retirement. I'm betting many of you have something similar. In fact, I'm fairly certain most everyone has their ideal vision of retirement. Unfortunately, the vast majority of hardworking Americans won't make it and will be forced to settle for something less, something like this. Now, this isn't for lack of services, financial products, and now plenty of apps to choose from as well. It's that those who need the help the most simply are too busy, too tired, or just too confused to search out those available solutions. Now, fortunately, we found that with a 401k, employees are 15 times more likely to save for retirement because we essentially help them save the money before they have a chance to spend it. But unfortunately, about 40+ million Americans are working for small businesses that don't have access to retirement. The reason why is because it's simply too costly to set up a retirement plan. It takes way too long, and it's far too complex for most small businesses to want to take on. Well, at 401go, we fixed that. We are the first to have fully automated plan design and setup, a process that normally takes about 6+ weeks to do, getting a plan set up and going, we can accomplish in under 15 minutes. Ongoing administration is fully automated through integrations with most major payroll and HR platforms. And the best thing is we can do this all for about $9 per user per month, which is about 70% less expensive than average for a small business. Now, we started working on this problem in 2017, and we put our first plan on the platform in 2018. Since then, we've grown to help roughly 300 businesses enable over 4,000 employees to save for retirement. Over this time, we've gained a lot of experience, and we discovered that there's an equally large problem beyond just making 401ks more accessible to small businesses. We discovered that even in large and well-established organizations, 401ks are underutilized by the workers who need them the most. Now, we're reversing that trend. We're making 401ks easy to use and an exciting benefit that employees will love. We have far more investment choices that appeal, especially to a younger workforce. We have a robo-advisor and other tools that make it easy to help build an investment plan. And soon we'll have an IRA solution to enable employees to continue to save for retirement, even when they've moved on to other employment. Fortunately, we're not alone in this endeavor. We have fintech friends that share our vision, but we differ greatly on the best way to achieve that vision. From the very beginning, we've believed that ideal outcomes are the result of a tech plus touch approach. Direct and through traditional providers is how we're going after the small business market. And when it comes to financial planning and investing, relationships matter.
Okay, great job. Thank you so much, Dan. Now we're going to open it up for the 2-minute Q&A.
Hi, Dan. This is Mark. I just was wondering, when you're showing this to a company, how do they motivate their employees to participate?
So we send notifications using the app through email. We also do virtual enrollment meetings to help encourage them to sign up. We found that the emails tend to be pretty effective. About 60% of the employees sign up from just the emails alone.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, do you have investment advising along with your platform for the services for the companies?
So right now it's not built into the platform, but that's where our partnered approach of working with financial advisors, CFOs, CPAs, those types of individuals, it helps to augment that. We do have some investment tools on the roadmap.
What is going to fuel your growth over the next year as far as, historical traction compared to what you see over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate. I actually kind of put a pause on all advertising campaigns about 2 months ago because we've had unprecedented growth from just, plenty of existing demand and our current referral partners. So we've been growing at, over 20% for the last few months. So there's a lot of existing demand, but we're also pursuing partner channels as well. So we're doing a lot more to bring on more partners over the next coming few months.
Well, while we're waiting, you mentioned forgotten. The forgotten. Can you elaborate on that? Some of the customers that you have that are in this forgotten category?
Yeah. So what we found is in that lower quartile of wage earners, about a little under 22% are participating when a 401k is active. When they have a 401k, we found that our numbers are a little more than 2 times higher than average. And so just the fact that we're using technology, we've made it so easy. We're seeing a lot higher participation. Also, those alternative investments, such as socially responsible investments, ESG funds. We're working on having a crypto option hopefully soon. These are things that those employees are more interested in.
I think our 2 minutes are up. Okay, next up is Carlton Van Putten.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for having me. And I'm really excited to be here with all the rest of the companies showing what we're doing here at PayRent. My name is Carlton Van Putten, and I'm the founder and CEO. PayRent is property management software designed for independent landlords and their renters that makes collecting rent more predictable and paying rent more rewarding. Our mission is to make sure that landlords and renters never miss a month's rent. You see, late and missed rent is not just a problem that's occurred during the pandemic. In fact, every month, 1 in 6 renters has trouble paying rent, causing a tremendous amount of distress for both the renter and the landlord. Based on data on our platform, however, 99% of the time, the problem is a short-term cash flow issue for the renter. Renters can eventually pay rent, but they just need help paying on time sometimes. So PayRent solves this problem by offering cheap short-term loans to renters and landlords via our lending partners to help smooth out cash flow and eliminate the stress and frustration caused by delayed rent payments. Now, there are about 43 million rental units in the US. 11 million independent landlords make up the majority of this market, operating 32 million of those rental units. Now, if you just look at the rent payment processing revenue for this segment, it represents about $4 billion in ARR. We participate in this revenue stream, of course, by charging transaction fees on rent payments, which is just 1% of that is $40 million in annual revenue. But PayRent's business model goes beyond traditional property management SaaS platforms, adding lending, banking, and eventually insurance revenue to that baseline, tripling the potential revenue per customer and solving several problems that impact the landlord-renter relationship. Since our launch last year, we've acquired about 2,100 landlords with very minimal marketing effort. They processed about $60 million in rent payments. We're averaging $450 in ARR per active customer. And we have only just started offering the lending products this month, so that's not included in that amount. Our product is unique in the market because our financial services improve the financial well-being of both parties. So we are more than just property management software. We're creating a financial ecosystem that can significantly improve the financial security and predictability of being a landlord while also changing rent for good. We're seeking $500,000 in pre-seed investment to help us eliminate late and lost rent and improve the financial well-being of renters and landlords everywhere. I appreciate you taking some time to listen and consider us and, of course, supporting our mission.
Great job, Carlton. Thank you so much for that great presentation. I'd like to go ahead and commence the 2-minute Q&A with the judges. Go ahead and unmute yourself at any time.
Hi, Carlton. I'm wondering how you're getting the funding for the loans and if you're charging for those loans.
Yes, great question. So we have lending partners on the renter side, for example. We have a company that we work with that provides all of the underwriting, provides the actual loan, does the actual collections and all of that in this early stage. We charge no interest for the loan, neither do they. We charge a one-time transaction fee of about $20, and that costs less than a late fee and costs less than using your credit card to try to make a rent payment. So on the renter side, we have a partner, and then on the landlord side, we also have a marketplace that we partnered with that offers loans, short-term and long-term, and other types of loans to the landlords as well.
The landlords that you have, you mentioned, how did they make this an incentive for their for the renters to opt in?
Yeah, great question. So we actually have built a feature called Rent Cred, which is it has 3 components to it. The first is that if you have an on-time payment history, we will report your credit, your rent payments to the credit bureau. So that doesn't happen. A third of everybody's income goes to paying rent, and they get no credit for it in terms of boosting their credit. So paying on our platform actually helps to boost their credit if they have an on-time history on our platform. It also unlocks this loan program. So after 6 on-time payments, we have the ability to do that as well. And then there's a third component to that. So we have incentives to reward renters for paying on our platform and paying on time every month.
Thank you.
Why doesn't Zego offer this yet? You mentioned them as your competition in your pitch deck.
My belief is because Zego thinks of themselves as a payment company and a software company, we think of ourselves as a financial services platform. Zego was also recently acquired, which changes a lot of dynamics there. And so I don't think I think they're pretty happy with their business model, which is payments revenue and a little bit of SaaS revenue. And we're looking to change basically the revenue model in the market and address the small landlord who they frankly don't want to have anything to do with because they're just not large enough for them from a customer recurring revenue standpoint. So I think this market's wide open. This independent landlord market's wide open.
Okay, and we're out of time. Thank you so much, Carlton, for your answers. And then we're going to allow Artem Levin into the room.
Okay, great. So greetings, everyone. Thanks for invitation. And as we don't have too much time, I wanted to start with a demo of our product. Actually, it is prediction markets. So when you as a customer can make prediction on different markets. Now it's cryptocurrency markets like Bitcoin. So for example, in our app on app.valleynetwork.live, you can see different markets. You can see the network on which this market is working. Here is Binance chain. When the market was created, it's Bitcoin to USD to the moment, when the market will end, and the current price and the strike price. So you as a customer betting whether the price of this asset will be higher or lower than 60,000 in 74 days. And the different sets to the market, and you can go to this market, can see some instruction here, some short instruction, what you're actually doing. I'm now connected to a MetaMask wallet, got some crypto there, and I'm actually doing some very small bet, actually $1.5, so that this crypto will be higher than 60,000 in 74 days. And all these bets, they're processed on open source smart contracts. So you actually can go to our website, valleynetwork.live, and you can see our GitHub here. And all these smart contracts on which these bets are processed, they're open. And you can see this transaction, and you can actually see it on Binance Chain Scan. Our product actually is fifth today on Product Hunt. We launched on Product Hunt today, doing pretty well, and actually fighting for the first place today. So all the bets of yours can be seen in transaction history of the market or your personal bet history here. And you can see all these bets here. And what actually big we just released is on-chain strategies, is when you, as a customer, can create your personal strategy. Let's call it like Product Hunt. Let's put some amount as a trader there. Me as a trader I have skin in the game. So how much I actually put myself into this strategy. And this special smart contract, it tracks all the bets on the prediction markets that I make. So I actually can show the track record on chain, on the blockchain, actually. And I can, for example, attract funds to this strategy. So this strategy Product Hunt, it's here. And I can deposit some funds to it, or I can go to the markets back, and I can use this strategy here in my betting and attaching my bets and my P&L to the strategy. We got some amazing decks, some materials, financial models. You can contact me in Telegram, Grind and Fine, always online. And I think 3 minutes are done. So I guess thanks for.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is really awesome. You know, the value network about this sort of trading and betting is so important to have it being neutral and believable. Thank you so much, Artem. Question and answer is next for 2 minutes.
Artem, with your projection platform, can you actually execute the trades that you're putting in there, or is it just used for projections?
So we're not touching the money on this platform. It's a non-custody, pure non-custody solution. And we're in a pure DeFi approach. So all you got is a MetaMask wallet, which is connected to Ethereum, Binance Chain, or other blockchains. And you operate from this wallet to the smart contracts. And we're providing the UI, the vision of the project and stuff.
Are you going to try to sell this along with other cryptocurrency software like Soft Ledger, an accounting system for cryptocurrency?
We are focused, and we're focused on prediction markets and developing the product into the prediction markets and into the DeFi.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we're going to do a quick introduction of Mezi, who is a sponsor of the PitchUp competition. I'd like to have Mezi and Tanner Anderson, the co-founder of Mezi, explain a little bit more about these reports and why it's so important for startups. Tanner, go ahead and join anytime.
Great. Sorry, I'll be quick, guys. You've seen Mezzy a few times, or Meezy, as Tara might say. Just kidding. A little bit of background on Mezzy. Just want to get quick. Our team has a lot of experience in venture capital and private equity and in entrepreneurship. We have partners that have built some big companies and exited from those. So over the years, we've saw there's a massive disparity between what investors want and what entrepreneurs actually know. So this led, in our experience, to really bad conversations, to bad pitches, and sometimes bad decisions. Mezzy exists to solve this through software and ourselves or our minds by standardizing investment analysis and deliverables. So in short, we love partnering with BoomStartup because they're doing amazing things with entrepreneurship. And if you're an investor or a founder looking to raise any of these companies, we probably have a solution for you. We're also building a platform which is in beta. We've had over $500 million transacted using our products, including raises and acquisitions of all stages. Lastly, big shout out to Tara and BoomStartup for hosting this event. Winners, they've mentioned before, we're offering each of you a $1,000 investment brief, which is essentially a one-page investment analysis on your company from VC analysts. And finalists, we're going to help you with market sizing. So reach out to us, we can help you out. That's a big misstep we see with founders. And everyone else, if you reach out to us, we can help you give you BoomStartup pricing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, on to a quick little plug about what else has happened. As I mentioned before, we have over 200 entries from 20 countries, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. We actually surveyed about a quarter of the people who participated in PitchUp 2. And did you know that each participant worked on their entry for 21 hours on average? We had one person log in 100 hours. And so everyone that you see today, and more importantly, those who did not make it to the finalist, put in a significant amount of work to hone their business pitch and to refine exactly why is their vision sustainable and interesting as a business. I also like to ask people who participate in the PitchUp competition, how difficult was it? And the answer was hard. It wasn't impossible, but it was hard. And I think it's because of, first off, it's challenging for business entrepreneurs to think about what they're doing in several different aspects of the business. As you can sense already from the presentations, we've asked them things about their traction, about how big the market is going to be, what are their financials and their critical path for spending such money that they attain. And I think those are the reasons why it's given more than a 7 on difficulty. And then out of every single person who participated, we asked, would they endorse this program, yes or no? Because there's a lot there. And we got 72%. So it's not 100%, which is totally fine. This is a real statistic. And I'm proud with the 72% saying, yep, thumbs up on the PitchUp 2 competition. Now, the boxes below are actually a timeline as to all the things that I've been doing. These competitors that you see have been working on this for over a month now. All of the entries were due at midnight on Friday, August 20th. And then there was a massive prelim review by 19 judges that concluded on August 26th. We had a couple of people respond late than expected for the finalists, but we actually made our selections on August 29th. And then quickly we linked everyone up with BoomStartup mentors to hone their presentations. And today is where you're seeing the final presentation. The winner and prizes will be announced at the end. And then the other aspect, which y'all don't know, is that the following 2 weeks, we're giving one-on-one feedback to those who made it to the finalists, as well as those who did not. Because it's important to us, just like on the Pioneer, to constantly be helping and honing our presentations and providing feedback. Okay, on to the next category, which is education. Education, there's $1,000 allotted to the winner of this category. Thank you, Assure. And there'll be a $1,000 Mezzy report awarded to the winner as well. And all finalists will receive a market analysis report by Mezzy. First up will be Amira Bello from Mathematician Jr. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. And Amira was mentored by Nancy Meyer. Mathematician Jr. accelerates foundational math skills in children ages 3 to 6 to help foster their confidence in early math mastery and positive relationship with math. And next will be Jacqueline Evanes from Spinndle, from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Jacqueline was mentored by Christina Scholle, and Spinndle is a learning platform that helps students from grades 4 through 12 manage the real world projects, because as we know, students are now working together right out of the gate. And the last presenter is Erin Guyetz from Pedestal from San Diego, California. I love that we have the coast cover here. Erin was mentored by Greg Keller. Thank you, Greg. Erin was also referred to the competition by yours truly. And Pedestal connects mentors and mentees and provides an incentivized private shared workspace that validates progress with data and crafts a mentor impact score to deliver results. So think mentors, but rated. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing, and Amira, you are up first.
All right, so I'll get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Amira Bello, and I'm the co-founder of Mathematician Jr. Our mission is to give children an early start towards loving and mastering math. You see, kids are struggling in math at an alarming rate, and this struggle negatively impacts their future opportunities. And what are most organizations doing? Well, they're offering kids a boatload of digital teaching tools and apps and software. Where does this affinity for app-based learning get us? Well, just take a look at this graph. This is where we are. Now, take another look at the other side of the graph and look at the countries who happen to be outperforming us. Typically, their educational infrastructure doesn't rely heavily on teaching and learning through apps. Oftentimes, these countries tend to have more reliance on physical learning devices, like the abacus, for example. Simply put, the abacus is a math manipulative. But there is a problem. The tool is scary for the American consumer. So this is where Mathematician Jr.'s innovation comes in. We've redesigned, simplified, and modernized the traditional abacus. We call it the junior counter. It goes up to number 999, and it's adaptable. It progresses with the child's math skills. Essentially, we offer a 3-in-1 unit. It holds all the characteristics of the traditional abacus, but it's just more kid-friendly. Each bead in its respective position represents a different number value. As children manipulate the beads, they add and subtract, multiply, and even divide. As children become more proficient, they develop the ability to visualize the beads, giving them an added edge with mental math computations. Along with the junior counter, we also offer how-to guides and workbooks, flashcards, live and virtual, and on-demand programming, which allow us to have both national and international reach. Our competitors don't have the boxes. We start kids early, we give them a playful tool, and we make math learning fun for them. Because of our tools and our approach, students who participate in our program consistently outperform their state standards. And our impact continues to change lives and perspectives. As we continue to grow, since our launch last year, we've consistently increased our fundraising, our revenue, our partnerships, and we even managed to figure out small batch manufacturing all the way in Indonesia. Shout out to Pasek. Our early adopters are local homeschooling families, and we're cultivating these relationships into traction into local, state, and national homeschooling networks. And from there, we want to tap into the private and independent school markets, aiming at our ultimate goals of landing Mathematician Jr.'s products in big box retail stores and our program in public school systems. We've worked with several wonderful organizations who have just helped us and continue to help us achieve our mission. We're family owned and run and venture. I am a veteran teacher. My big brother and co-founder Sadiq, he brings his corporate and new product development expertise to the table. So help us on this mission. We endeavor to put math back into the hands of children and help them have early success. We're looking.
You're right there. Amira, thank you so much for the presentation. We're going to go ahead and start the 2-minute Q&A with the judges.
Tell us what you're looking for.
What are we looking for? You can be a little bit more specific as it relates to customers, as it relates to funding.
You were cut off right when you were about to tell us what you were looking for.
No, we're looking for mentorship and funding, specifically mentorship, someone who could help guide us, maybe a buyer or somebody could help guide us through the process of getting into big box retailers.
I understand. sorry, I understand the physical product, but can you talk to me about what else you're going to do to help make the product usable and how you're going to use it to teach math for people that don't know how to use an abacus?
Sure, that's what the whole platform is. So initially we started off just selling the physical product, and then parents were like, okay, we bought it, we like the concept, but what do we do next? So we offer a whole lot of on-demand virtual programming, live programming, pre-records, and even our workbooks are very user-friendly to not just for the child to work on their skill, but to allow families or whatever parents to help guide them through. It's a really simplified approach.
And then next up, we have Aaron Guyetz.
All right, hey, I'm Aaron, educator, mentor, and founder of Pedestal. By 2030, we're going to see an $8.5 trillion talent shortage. Companies can't find talent. Educational institutions and programs are facing shrinking budgets and have pressure to prove that the program's being effective and people are being hired after completing it. And individuals are lost when they're beginning or transitioning into new careers because there's such a major gap what is taught in traditional education and what is required at a job in the real world. So they're missing out on millions of dollars of opportunities every year. We want to show those aspiring professionals that they are not alone via our social media platform and marketplace for mentors to connect with mentees. It's as simple as logging on to Pedestal, searching for a mentor in a given field, let's say software engineering, then requesting to work together. The mentor can then approve the engagement and they're given a week to work together before they must figure out pricing. They collaborate in private, incentivized workspaces that help them maximize their engagements with data-driven insights and recommendations. We have a membership fee that is often credited back through actions taken on the platform, like mentoring. We also leverage the marketplace. We take 6% of transaction fees between the mentor-mentee partners. We're ramping up to our beta by the end of the month, and we've got 300 eager professionals excited to work together, and then we'll be launching in January. We're putting ourselves in the shoes of our consumers. So picture a 23-year-old student who still calls himself that a year post-graduation, and he needs to find a job that pays more than $11 an hour so he can stop hearing his mom say, well, he might move out by the time he's 30. Now this individual checks his career services portal at his alma mater, and he sees that they've partnered with Pedestal to help him accelerate his career. He gets on the platform and he begins working with a mentor, and he finds a job in half the time of his peers. So now the organization gets to claim, hey, people after our program find a job 25% faster than our competitors. What a great marketing and PR opportunity. He's so excited that he begins telling his friends about Pedestal, and he earns a nice sum from referring out to his network. All the while he's ramping up to be a mentor himself with help and guidance from us, and he ends up earning a nice stream of income from his new job and working with us at Pedestal. So I'm a technical founder with a software background, so you know all the features I mentioned are going to be implemented. And I'm supposed to say I've got the best team in the world. They're awesome. I truly do. But I've still got the CEO label. So thank goodness I have an advisory board with multiple exits and experience crafting and selling businesses in the social, education, and future workspaces. We're raising $500,000 to tap into this $1.5 trillion market and get us to 50,000 in monthly recurring revenue and 25,000 active monthly users. Thank you so much.
Aaron, great job. I love it when people are punctual. This is great. All right, let's move to the 2-minute Q&A from our judges.
How do you attract the mentors?
Yeah, great question. And we get asked this a lot. The mentors, we haven't had a problem attracting. So we view that as, we always say the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So we actually believe we're tapping into the creator economy. We're looking at the creator middle class, right? It might not be a household name, but we're giving those people a chance to give back while earning money on the side. So that referral program and the partnerships with educational institutions like alumni networks, we're starting to see mentors funnel right over.
I see it seems like you're really focused on education and getting partnerships with universities, and that's a pretty hard sell. What kind of relationships or partnerships have you already built to get those?
Yeah, great question. So we originally are reaching out with remote institutions, right, where they might not be able to go in and get something, that one-on-one help, talk to professors. So we're targeting programs like General Assembly, where they'll come out as software engineers and they're thrusted into the space, and schools like Southern New Hampshire University, Phoenix Online. So when we partner with them, all we need them to do is just funnel the user over. So there's actually no partnership agreement, right? They just mention us and we get put on their page. We're on General Assembly's page, and we're hoping to be on SNOO's page by the end of the year.
That's great. Aaron, thank you so much. Awesome job. All right, Jacqueline, thank you for joining us today. Go ahead and share your screen.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jacqueline Evanez, and I'm the founder of Spinndle, and we help students grade 3 to 12 manage real-world projects. There are more and more teachers turning to these real-world projects, not only to engage their students, but to help students build future-ready skills. I was one of those teachers for 7 years. And here's an example of one of the community service projects I ran with my class. This is Brooklyn. She's running a peer tutoring program. In order to do this, she needs to investigate tutoring programs, interview students in order to ideate solutions, put a plan together, and run her program. She needs feedback at every step of her project. But I had 25 other students in my class who also needed feedback. I could not keep up. And that's why Spinndle breaks down the project into manageable steps. So Brooklyn knows where to start and she knows where to go next, practicing key executive functioning skills. And because Spinndle shares her works to peers at every single step, she's getting the feedback that she needs when she needs it, all while practicing key social emotional skills. Now teachers can step back and intervene with ease. They're able to see the skill progression of each student along the way on Spinndle. Now we're taking a bottom-up sales approach because we know schools and districts won't buy in unless their key stakeholders, their teachers, have already tried the product. And so we spent the last 2 years piloting with 100 teachers. 80% of those have already converted to paid or partnered with us in some way. And in the last few months, we just launched our free trial freemium model with over 500 teachers signed up. 59% of those are already active, and it's been summertime. And why is that happening? Because Spinndle is the safe place for students to practice these skills. Instead of submitting to the teacher, they're sharing to learn along the way. They're more confident, able to stay on track and move forward more independently, giving teachers 5 times more documented evidence of learning than other platforms. Now everyone's getting feedback in way less time. Bottom line, this student-centered workflow is more efficient. Now the process of the project is not being bottlenecked at the teacher, unlike other project management platforms you see in the K-12 space. Now we're a small team, but we are being advised by 45 teachers on product design and promotion on a weekly basis. We are looking for 500K. 40% of that round is already closed. This is mostly going to marketing and sales so that we can reach 10,000 teachers by fall 2022. Just going to leave on this one note from one of our schools. During the pandemic, they said student work wasn't showing up anywhere, but it was showing up on Spinndle. Thank you for your time.
That's a great presentation. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Okay, I'd like to open it up for 2 minutes Q&A with our judges.
Can you walk us through like what type of teacher uses this? Like an English teacher? Is it a math teacher? Like who's the ideal teacher right now?
Sure thing. So on slide 1, it showed IB programs, AP programs, STEM, STEAM, entrepreneur classes. We have ELA teachers, math teachers, science teachers on there. Any kind of student-led project-based teacher would be using our platform.
Can you speak to if you're getting traction in charter schools, public schools, parochial schools?
Actually, to date, it's been all 3. We haven't really seen a trend yet, just because we're pretty green. We will try and focus on charter schools because we've experienced that they're a little bit more innovative, and specifically in the States, because they're more risk adverse, even though we're a Canadian company.
I think you mentioned that there were 500 teachers that were on the platform independently. So does that mean that they are outside of the school system, not through a school district? They have purchased and are paying monthly for that on their own, or what does that mean?
Not paying. So we're a free trial freemium model. And so we've just launched a few months ago. So we're, they're still kind of going through that funnel. But that's just the traction we have to date. Some of them are part of the school and bringing it into their schools. We're currently in 16 schools across the US.
Okay, great job. Thank you so much. And that concludes our education category. I'm going to go ahead and kick off humanity. All right, the humanity category is an important category because, yes, it helps us socially and helps mankind. The humanity category sponsor is Stoll Reeves, Mark Rasich, who is one of our judges today, will be providing 4 service hours to the winner of the humanity category. In addition, Assure is providing $1,000 in cash, and Mezi will be sharing the $1,000 report as well. So this winner is walking away with a massive purse of goodness. Also, all finalists will get a market analysis provided by Mezi. The first person I'd like to introduce is Tyler Gibbs with Audio House from Draper, Utah. Tyler was mentored by Boom's own Greg Keller. Thank you again, Greg. And he was referred into the competition by Taylor Bench from the Midday Connect. Audio House builds self-service recording studios, rents them out to schools, and then makes them publicly available outside of school hours. Next up will be Alex Pooh from Barrel. Alex is from Chicago, Illinois, United States, mentored by Nancy Mayer. Alex was referred into the competition by the Boom Startup community, and Barrel creates personalized trips at the click of a button, and it's better than what a travel agency would do. Last is Brenda Anderson from Jipe Jobs from Fruit Heights, Utah. Brenda was mentored by Christina Sjali and referred into the competition by yours truly. Jipe Job revolutionizes the job search for the Gen Z rising generation. Okay, so Tyler Gibbs, you are up first. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Imagine that you are a painter, but every canvas accessible to you looks like this. So everything that you paint inevitably looks like this. This is honestly the state of audio production right now. If you've tried to record a podcast or a song or narrate an audiobook, you know that there is so much challenge in equipment and noise and all these outside things you need to get to work together in order to clean up that canvas and get something that sounds good. It ultimately has created a process that is too complicated for most people to feel like they could do easily and too expensive to pay for. A lot of people give up, especially if they just want 1 or 2 songs done. With Audio House, that's totally different now. We've created 1-button recording spaces that make it extremely easy and simple to record yourself and extremely affordable. We take these recording spaces, we rent them out to schools, and we make them publicly available for anyone to use. With this model, anyone can create a song in about 45 minutes and for about $10. Let's drive that business model home just a little bit more. So schools pay rent. They supply Wi-Fi, the space, the security, the electricity, everything we need, and it stays permanently there pretty much. DIY creators like musicians and audiobook narrators rent out the studio for $10 an hour, and we have a 100% conversion rate to our professional services that ends up yielding about 30 to 35% profit margin depending on the service. This industry is booming. People are recording themselves all around, and people are buying up these things like crazy, things that our competitors are doing like crazy. With our specific target market and our current prices, we have a TAM of $73.8 million. And within, by the end of next year, with our current growth rate, we will be at $450,000. Our current CAC is $75 and our current LTV is $400 just based on a year of data so far. You can ask more about the go-to-market plan if you'd like. The hardware, all of our competitors really just focus on one narrow aspect of the audio production process. You end up needing to use a lot of them and a lot of them in combination in order to get something to work well. And as we talked about before, it's expensive and difficult. Since launching our MVP, we've had 7 consecutive months of 80% capacity. We just launched a second location in Provo. 202 out of 204 customers have returned at least once. And we are Utah's highest rated recording studio with 105-star reviews. I ask all of you to support your local creators and eventually nationwide creators by investing in Audio House, mentoring our team, and sharing this with the creators that you know. Thank you so much.
You're right there. Congratulations, Tyler. We'll ask you to unmute yourself. And now we'll move to 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges.
What's the cost of these houses again?
Cost of each one of these recording spaces. We build them different depending on the demographic of the people that we expect to be around there, but it's anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000.
And they're fully enabled with pianos or whatever they need. Is that how it's built?
Depending on the demographic, yeah. For example, the $15,000 one has mostly just vocal things if we expect mostly hip hop artists to be using it, and with basic MIDI keyboards and microphones.
And with the lowering cost of like microphones and Zooms, I mean, things are getting really, really good for in-home audio studios. TikTok's killing it at the moment. You know, like how do you guys plan to compete against that moving forward?
Yeah, so most of the creators that we work with, actually, those things are lead generators for us. So they start on TikTok, they start with some of these in-home services, and then they realize, I want something that sounds even better. And so then they come to us. So we're the next step in that process.
You said that 100%, you're getting 100% a conversion of the professional services. What are those professional services that you're doing?
Yeah, great question. So people will book to rent out the space, and then they'll decide that they want mixing and mastering, they'll want editing, they'll want things on top of what they did themselves.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How many locations do you want?
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Shay, go ahead, please.
No, you're fine.
Right now we have 2 locations.
No, what's your goal?
Oh, we plan to be in most high schools nationwide that fit our target demographic for schools. And that's a student body of 200 to 500 students.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much. That was fantastic, Tyler. Next up is Alex from Barrel.
What do you think when I say the word travel? Maybe a weekend getaway to Vegas, those white and blue buildings off the coast of Greece, or the sunny beaches in Cancun. Now, what do you think when I say travel planning? Maybe you get excited, or maybe you think of Expedia, the endless scrolling on Airbnb, or pressing the little open tab button to open your 27th tab planning of the night. Travelers spend an average of 10 hours searching and planning for each trip. We are reaching a new inflection point in the travel industry where we are seeing Generation Z and millennials become the dominant spenders in an outdated travel industry. Zillennials are tired of searching, they want to discover. That's where we come in. My name is Alex Poo, co-founder of Barrel, and we are bringing the travel agency experience to the 21st century by creating personalized trips at the click of a button. With our machine learning algorithms, we are taking personalization to a new level that the travel industry has never seen before. Imagine this. You're traveling to Chicago and you tell us you love gin and tonics, and that if your fiance had to choose one food to eat for the rest of her life, it'd be fried chicken. Suddenly, you have a romantic weekend getaway planned out and a date booked at one of the trendiest fried chicken spots in Chicago. And oh yeah, the best gin and tonic in town is just a couple of blocks away. That's winning you some brownie points for sure. We're here to help create those special moments for everyone, solo travelers, families, friends, you name it. Simply tell us where you want to go or how much you want to spend, answer a few quick questions about your travel preferences, and Barrel generates trip itineraries made specially for you. And the best part is, our customers get excited about their beautiful itineraries, and the happier they are, the more pictures they take. They quite literally generate marketing content for us. We charge $40 for access to our database and hyper-personalization algorithms to plan domestic trips and $90 for international. And after speaking with 115 plus travelers and planning trips for 26 more, we have iterated and landed on an experience that they want to pull out their wallets for. And with over 500 email signups on our waitlist and a reach of 2,000 plus new accounts on social media every week, we are gaining traction in the $146 million market of US Gen Z and millennials, and that's just the beginning. We're focused on an overall opportunity of $834 billion as we expand to other customer demographics and establish new B2B partnerships. Our team is made up of avid travelers with world-class talent from the University of Chicago. My co-founder Yu Yang and I were both heads of professional programming and membership at the most prestigious business organization on campus, and I make no exaggeration when I say our development team has 4.0 GPAs at one of the toughest institutions in the world, and they have the coding skills to back it up too. We're here to help save you from the overwhelming stress and time spent on trip planning. If you are traveling soon, we have a healthy pipeline of travelers we are working with, but would love to connect with you on our website to help create your next adventure. Thank you so much, and we hope that the next time you hear travel planning, you think of Barrel. Thanks again, and I'd love to open up for questions.
Alex, great job on your presentation. There was one logo on that screen that I really liked. You probably guess which one. All right, we're going to open up for 2 minutes Q&A from the judges at this time.
How far away are you guys from the website? I was hoping to use it. I was going to play around with it. So,
yeah, I really appreciate that. So as of right now, we think we're about 6 weeks out from actually launching a functional product. At the moment where we are is we have a semi-automatic product that we're using to plan trips for our customers manually at the moment. So on our side, just to better understand, what we're going into and to reassert ourselves as travel experts in trip planning. But yeah, you can expect about 6 weeks to 2 months time.
Talk to us a little bit about your competition. I mean, why wouldn't Orbitz do exactly what you're doing or another flight or travel company?
Right. So what we're really focusing on now is our aspects of hyper-personalization and getting really into what every individual traveler likes, because we do believe every traveler is different. In terms of our competition, we mentioned we believe that the travel industry is changing, and because of that, it's harder for a lot of these legacy companies to really understand what's happening on the ground. So we believe our positioning as college students and young professionals will really help us understand our market better than they can, and from that, better create trips with our algorithms for travelers.
Awesome, thank you.
How are new data privacy trends impacting your ability to do the hyper-personalization?
So that's a great question. And I'm going to be honest, with the APIs that we've been working with right now to create our database, this isn't an issue that we've run into yet. So I can't answer that as thoroughly as I'd probably like to. I definitely research that a little more and get back to you on that. But as of right now, we don't foresee that, being an obstacle for us. But in the case that it is, we'll definitely look into that.
Okay, thank you so much. Your 2 minutes are up. We're going to do 60 seconds for judging and then invite Brenda Anderson from Jipe Jobs into the meeting next.
Hi, I'm Brenda Anderson, founder and CEO of Jipe. So here's the deal. No one likes looking for a job, and that is exactly why I built Jipe. Let me share 3 things about me that led me to innovate and create this company. The first thing about me is my talent marketing background. It didn't take me long working in this space to figure out the universal truth that I just went over. Nobody likes looking for a job. It's so extreme, in fact, that more people would rather stand in line at the DMV all day than look for a job. And the reason is the processes in place today are complicated and time-consuming and overwhelming and often repetitive. The second thing about me is I've been single a long time, long enough that I've literally watched and experienced how the dating industry has changed and completely shifted away from online websites to mobile apps that are quick and easy to use. And at a glance, I get to decide if I want to make a connection. The third thing are my Gen Z kids. I have these 2 awesome teenagers, but trust me, I don't understand them, and nobody does. But one thing that we really do know about Gen Z is they don't know a universe without a mobile device in their hand. And the apps they use must be mobile, quick, easy to use, intuitive, look good, and work well, or they're not going to use them. Jipe is a mobile app to connect job seekers with jobs near them. We accomplish this using a match and swipe platform most commonly used in dating sites or dating apps. Our proprietary software uses a filtering system and algorithms to help make these meaningful connections. I literally built Jipe for my kids and for 43 million other Gen Zers who need help finding jobs, using technology the way that they want to use it. Not only are we helping the job seeker, but we're helping businesses source for their open seats. 87% of businesses today do not participate in mobile recruiting. And now they have an easy solution that they can use that gives them access to a candidate pool they're not currently accessing today. Here's a snapshot of the milestones we've accomplished and traction we're starting to build. Our apps consist of native iOS and Android mobile apps, plus a custom web app where businesses manage their accounts and accept job applications. We launched on February 15th of this year, and in 6 months, we've had 1,400 downloads, 36 employers have signed up, and over 70 job applications have been submitted by our users. Jipe is free for our job seekers. We enter the SaaS space by charging our businesses to post jobs on our website, on our app, but through paid monthly subscriptions. Now our challenge is to grow both sides of the aisle, to really focus on brand awareness, to bring more job seekers to the app and acquire and onboard more businesses to post their job on our site. We're seeking to grow our team and raise $250,000 in pre-seed funding to accomplish this in Northern Utah. If you're interested in the opportunity to learn more and join our team and join our mission to create connections that build futures and change lives, please reach out. Thank you, and I'd love to take your questions.
Awesome job, Brenda, on time management, and I love the story. All right, questions from the judges? We can start now for the next 2 minutes.
Brenda, do you foresee your market as primarily millennials and Gen Z? Like that gamified kind of system, do you feel like that's going to translate over to other job seekers?
I think it does. So 55% of our users are in the Gen Z zones, but we do have 45% who are older. So it does translate to other users, but I designed it with Gen Z in mind.
How are you currently marketing your app?
So I have an integrated marketing strategy, and we're doing a lot of the expected things like digital advertising and SEO and the website, and of course those things. But where I feel like we really stand out is our strategic marketing tactic of partnering with educators. So I have education partners that are high schools and tech colleges and starting to get into universities. Weber State's the first one that I'm starting with. This gives us access to their students and working with these education partners.
Awesome.
What kind of jobs are you recruiting for? Are these like entry level, middle management, exec? Like where are you playing in that space?
Yeah, that is a great question. We're at entry level right now, hourly positions. We do have some skilled labor jobs on there too that don't require a specific educational or professional background, that are maybe a little more blue collar skilled. But entry level is really where we play and have the most success so far.
All right, Brenda, thank you so much for your submission and answering those questions. That concludes the 3 finalists for the humanities category. I'd like to take a pause right now and note an honorable mention from India Hayes from Atlanta, Georgia, and her startup, Mini City. Her scores would have qualified for her to compete in this category. However, she was unable to join. So I asked her to please do a video. Mini City is a compassionate tech SaaS platform that streamlines the admin process for obtaining legal forms of ID and life-critical benefits for the homeless. And so VJ Kathy is going to go and share the movie.
Hello, everyone. My name is India Hayes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mini City. Now, before I talk about our solution, I want to talk about the problem that we're addressing. Chronic homelessness is a major problem in our nation, with lack of ID being one of the largest obstacles that's faced by the homeless. There's over 500,000 people experiencing homelessness on any given night in the United States, and 50% of them do not have access to ID. Now, a lack of access to ID leads to a lack of self-sufficiency, and this leads to a lack of access to government benefits that exist for the homeless. In the words of one of our former citizens, sometimes it feels like you need ID to get identification. Over 50% of the homeless are not able to get access to housing, Medicaid, food stamps, job opportunities, and more due to lack of ID. We're a mobile solution that meets the homeless where they are. In less than 10 minutes, they can apply for ID with our software tablet solution that's provided on site at partner locations. We streamline over 50 authorization and notarization forms so that we can quickly get ID. Those other solutions, they don't do that. I'm India Hayes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mini City, and I know with your genuine support, we can make this so-called hidden epidemic of homelessness brought to light with tech, compassion, and care.
Next time, I hope India competes. So thank you all. This concludes our 7 categories, and I'd like to just first just revisit this moment, and I wish I could bottle the energy and excitement that we just saw in this sort of thing. I think we all can feel like we contributed a little bit, as to which the engineers and astronauts did with Pioneer 10 making the satellite. And I hope that we can propel the companies that applied as well as become finalists and will be the winners further than what they thought they could do alone. Again, you know, it just takes a moment to change trajectory, and it's with this community that we have achieved a lot. We promise to connect and guide others and encourage startup success, as you can tell by this program. And what I'd like to do is revisit the judging criteria. Our 19 judges reviewed all 22 entries on professionalism, traction, viability, reach, and innovation. Each of these components were graded on a 0 to 5 scale, and we collected the feedback and have identified the winners. Before we move into the announcing the winners, I'd like to give thanks one more time to our sponsors that financially support this. First off, thank you, Assure, for providing the $1,000 to each category winner. Assure is the leader in SPVs for private investments. I'd like to also thank Stoll Reeves, in particular Mark Rasich, who's providing 4 service hours to the Humanity winner. Stoll Reeves provides comprehensive legal services to startups. I'd like to thank Chris Badger, with Now CFO, for providing 4 consulting hours to finalists. Chris, thank you so much for giving them that financial aptitude. It's the visibility that will help them make smarter business decisions. Also, thank you so much to Shakayla at Start, who's providing $250 in cash plus $1,000 in services to the Community Award winner, which is an ancillary category. Actually, not even a category. It's an ancillary award to all, where any of the finalists could be qualified for it. Just got a little tongue-tied. All right, thank you, Mezzi Tanner Anderson, for being here and providing $1,000 in reports to each category winner and the market analysis to all the finalists. And thank you so much, Jeremy Lund and Rehabilitation Health, for providing $5,000 in services to the health and wellness winner, and clearly in health and wellness, thank you. And then thank you to Outcode. Outcode is always there as our cheerleader, as BoomStartup, and they help us with product design, and they help our community as well as innovations as well. And a couple of those that presented today were also Outcode customers. So thank you, Outcode, for being an intrinsic part of the startup community. All right. And thanks again to the judges. I would like to actually, there were 19 preliminary judges, and I'd like just to mention them by name because I suspect they're watching this. Thank you each for the hours that you spent through the 200 submissions. Alex Zollinger, Clara Bachman, Chris Maresca, Christina Shawley, Jean Scheck, Greg Keller, Irene Barboza, Jolene Krosman, Judy Robinette, Kathy Eckel, Liz Smith, Mike Miller, Parker Bishop, Sage Stickley, Travis Hansen, Trayvon Washington, and Zach Smith. Thank you guys. Being prelim judges is the hard stuff because you do really the heavy lifting. And for the crew, I'd like to thank Ashley Maquette, Cade Colling, Aaron Wathen, Kathy Eckel, and Michelle Bendoni. This would not have happened without each of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, with no further ado, thank you to the 200 plus entrepreneurs who entered the contest, to our 7 sponsors, the 30 preliminary and finalist judges, the 7 mentors, and the 7 crew. And seriously, y'all, we are an open accelerator, can't plug it enough. Jump into any of these programs that can help your business grow and succeed. And with no further ado, we are going to announce the first winner, which is the Start Community Uplift Award. First, I'd like to do a quick plug on Start Community. Start is really passionate about supporting startups and creatives. Start's business centers around developing a community for creators. They do this through events such as Founders Fridays, support services, and working on launching residential live-in communities for creatives. If you would like to learn a bit more about what we're doing, you can connect with Shay on LinkedIn. It's at Shaykayla Smith, or you can check out their website at start.com. As an event partner, they've had the opportunity to select one team that stood out for its community impact. The winner of this award will receive a cash prize and a variety of support services from the START team. To give everyone a little insight on how START team went about choosing a winner, they focused on teams that best represented START's 4 core values. 1, dare to try. 2, stronger together. 3, access is power. And 4, create the future. START would like to congratulate Greenbox, all right, Divin, for winning START Community Uplift Award. Greenbox embodies the concepts that focus on some of those core values, stronger together and having access is power. Divin, if you are online.
Yes.
Yay! You want to say a couple things?
Yes, you don't have electricity here.
Well, congratulations, Divin, for winning the START Award.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You did great. All right. Our next category is energy, and we'd like to say congratulations to Padma Agrobotics. And Cole, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Wow, thank you so much. It's exciting. And I want to thank everybody for the time they put in making this event possible and giving us the chance to compete.
Well, what you're doing is really critical. I mean, everything comes down to food. It's one of the necessities. And good luck with your efforts in Arizona. And yeah, keep us apprised as to what you're up to.
Thank you.
Our next winner for Impact is Eyes. Congratulations, Willem. Willem, I'm not sure if you're still on the line or not.
Hey, it's Michael, one of the co-founders of ICE as well. Willem couldn't make it anymore, but I'm really honored that we won the competition. So that's fantastic to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much for hosting the event as well.
Congratulations. And
Thank you very
you guys
much.
are making something really important. Love what you're doing, and we're happy to support you in any way.
Thanks a lot.
Next winner for productivity is Schedulehead. Derek, congratulations. Derek, are you still on the line from Dallas?
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to allow us to present today. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Great job today. Health and Wellness, Joe Connell from Newest. Well, Joe isn't here, but I can tell you he's a Steelers fan.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Joe. There he
Thank
is.
you from Steeler headquarters here. This she is.
Go Steelers.
Thank you very much.
He's been working with BoomStartup for the last few weeks, pretty intensely, in fact, and just a fantastic person. So hats off to Joe and his team. Congratulations to Carlton Van Putten with Pay Rent. Carlton, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. And pleasantly surprised and excited. You like me. You really like me.
We do. We do like you.
Thank you, guys.
And you convinced a room full of judges, too. So good job.
Fantastic job on this. Thank you so much.
You did great. Next, Spinndle. Jacqueline from Vancouver, British Columbia. Jacqueline, are you still on the line? Oh, here comes.
I am. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was awesome. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. What you're doing with Spinndle, and I have a high schooler. She's going to just eat this up, let me tell you.
Great.
Great job. All right, Jipe. We have Brenda Anderson. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm super honored, and thank you, Tara, and all the judges and mentors and everyone who made this possible. Thank you.
You guys, this is awesome, and that's it. We really appreciate your time, your effort. We hope this is just the beginning of a fun journey ahead, and just realize how the strength in Boom's community is the community itself. We encourage you guys to keep posted with our upcoming activities. Our lineup for September and October and November are going to be really impressive. And we'll also be making some announcements with Amplify up soon too. With that, I give you my adieu. Ciao.